I've listened the last couple of days, and it feels like you can't stay away from Scott Rolan, that topic of going into the Hall of Fame. And this feels like, and I agree with you on this. This feels like the baseball writers are going, get used to this. This is what we're going to factor in on the new Hall of Fame candidate. If Scott Rolan just went by the normal stats we had growing up, he's not a Hall of Famer. But these, WAR and VORP and all of this other stuff, Scott Rolan's he's going to be the poster child. We're going to look back and say, that's when it started. And I agree with you. Jeff Kent's a Hall of Famer. But if you don't want to put him in, then you can't put Scott Rolan in. So we're on the same page with this.
Wow, look at that. Yeah, the consistency angle is what bothers me. I mean, I don't know how you separate Rolan and Kent. Kent only gets 46% of the vote on his 10th year. Furthermore, doesn't it bother you, Danny, that in his first year in 18, Rolan only had 10% of the vote?
Yeah.
How do you go from 10% to in 4 years? I don't understand that.
Has that happened to anybody? Like, what's the lowest?
That's the lowest ever. Lowest ever.
And what happens is one writer told me, hey, you know what? We just didn't vote for Rolan that first go round because we knew he wasn't going to get in. I go, well, do you think he's a Hall of Famer? Well, you didn't the first year, but now you do? Like, what happened? You just ran out of good candidates this year?
Did Derek Jeter have 10% of the vote his first year of eligibility? How about Mariano? Did Mariano have 10% of the vote? Did they say, you know what, we got too many guys on the ballot, so let's we won't vote for Mariano this year. 10%? I can see if Rolan had 40, 50%. All right, he made a jump. That's been done.
But Chris, let me ask you this. What if I said you can either look at all the stats or you can't look at any stats? And you decide who's going into the Hall of Fame. So right now, you can't factor in anything with Billy Wagner other than I'm going to go Billy Wagner Hall of Famer.
Well, I would say no, because I would go eye test, and I'm going to remember the bad games in the postseason.
Okay. Todd Helton.
Well, I'm going to be anti-Coors Field, because we all know that was a huge advantage. Galarraga and all those, Dante Bichette.
Why isn't it still an advantage, Chris?
Say again, I'm sorry.
We don't hear about Coors Field being an advantage the way it was when you had, those great Rocky teams.
100%. And, without looking at the stats, doesn't it bother you a little bit that Helton hits 287 lifetime outside of Coors Field and he's got 140 homers?
Yeah.
I mean, Hernandez hit 296 and he's got 150 homers. Put him in the Hall of Fame. So I have a problem with Helton too, and he's going to make it. Look at his vote. What is he, 71%?
Yeah.
He's going to get in.
Yeah.
He's going to get in.
But you know what? And we brought this up. Scott Rolan wasn't a star. He was just a plug and play, very good, Reds and Cardinals and, whatever. Dale Murphy was a star. Don Mattingly, star.
Yes,
but they didn't have the numbers. But if you said, hey, Don Mattingly's going in because of contributions to the game or the star power, what he did, he missed probably 2 more years than he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Dale Murphy hits 400 home runs. We might look at him differently than 398, as crazy as that's going to sound. So we don't have star power now. How many players would your kids go, Dad, I got to go watch him play? Aaron Judge.
Excellent point.
Shohei Ohtani.
Yep. Not many.
Yeah.
Would you, Trout.
I don't know. I don't think Trout brings people out.
You don't think so?
No. He's a great player.
But I understand what you're saying. But here's basically what you're saying is, did Scott Rolan ever sell a ticket?
Yeah.
Did my child, who's a good baseball fan, did he say, hey, Dad, Roland's in town. Can we go to a Met game at Citi Field to see Scott Rolan play? And the answer is absolutely not. And you know what the problem with the Hall of Fame, Dan, is? It's become the Hall of Fame of the very good. It's not, when you and I grew up, it's not the Hall of Fame of the great or the immortal.
Bryce Harper, personality. Bryce Harper has star power there.
Yes, he does.
And maybe that's not fair, but I've maintained for a while now, if you have the Hall of Fame and you think of it as penthouse, 3rd floor, 2nd floor, 1st floor, then I don't think we're as offended. If Scott Rolan is in the 1st floor And Babe and all the other legends are at the penthouse. And then maybe on the third floor, you have certain guys, second floor. So you got in your first floor when you go to, Cooperstown. Scott Rolan's over here and, whatever other guys, Bruce Suter's over here. It's not the same. You're in the building, but it's not the same. Does that take away a little bit of well, he's no Babe Ruth or he's no Hank Aaron? Because I think that's what bothers us. Like, they're going to be included in that Hall of Fame class, and they're guys who shouldn't be.
Yeah, you and I are on the exact same page. Roland's a very, very good player. And I like this statistic that I used this week. How many balls do you think were hit to Roland? They bring up the defense in the 7 Gold Gloves. How many balls during the course of a week, let's say he played 6 games, that he makes a play on that no other third baseman in the sport makes a play on? If you're going to tell me 3, that's a lot, because lots of times he doesn't get a ball hit to him the whole game. So if you're going to tell me in 6 games, every other game, he makes a play at third base that not another third baseman in the world can make a play on, let's say I'd be fair to you and I'll give you 3. How many at-bats does he have during a week? 6 games, somewhere between 24 and 28 at-bats. So he's got 24 to 26 at-bats, say, and he gets 3 balls hit to you. Would you rather have the guy that can make maybe the 3 plays ground balls, or would you rather have who's better there, or would you rather have the guy who's the better offensive player who's got 23 more chances to get up to the plate to get a big hit? I'd rather have the offense myself. Would you? Wouldn't you rather have the offense?
In today's game, absolutely.
And that's where Kent lines in. All right, we understand. He's not as good as Roland defensively. He's got more homers. He's got more RBIs. He's got more runs scored. He's got 10 points better batting average, and he won an MVP.
Yeah,
which Roland never did.
And a tougher ballpark to hit in, too.
Very good point. I was just going to bring that up. And that, boy, good job, Dan. In that ballpark with L.A. and San Diego and those, oh, God, drove me nuts. I tell you right now, it's funny. The writers think they are changing the way here, but the only people that are annoying are the old guys. My 20-year-old doesn't care if Scott Rolan's in the Hall of Fame. The 50-year-old does.
I know. Yeah, I don't know if it's as big a deal. Yeah. The 20-year-old doesn't care if Bonds gets in or...
No, it doesn't care.
It's not going to bother them, but like Manny, and it bothered me that Schilling didn't get in. Because whether you like it, I don't like Jeff Kent's personality, but that's not factoring into this. I love Dale Murphy's personality. That doesn't factor into this. All I know is certain guys you just go, Curt Schilling was a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely was. 11-2 in the postseason. I'll tell you somebody else that I've done a lot on that I think is a Hall of Famer that you may have heard me say it, that I am shocked he's not in. How is Steve Garvey not?
We brought it up. We did 30 minutes on him 2 days ago. He had 11 All-Star appearances. I think he's got the most All-Star. He would be Robert Redford not winning an Academy Award. It's like, that guy, over the course of he might have been just too good looking, Chris.
I'll tell you something else. He played in 55 postseason games. 55. He had 220 at-bats. You know what his batting average was? 338. Yeah. With 11 homers.
Yeah.
Now, hold on now. Here's a guy that won an MVP. He had 200 hits. He played in, 1,400 games before he broke his finger that year, the slide to the plate. He was a great postseason hitter. He was on iconic teams. Yeah. He played for 12, 13 years in a row. And this guy's not in the Hall of Fame.
And he played in a big market. You would think that playing in L.A., that would be reason. You know what? How about we work on this together? With Steve Garvey project, we're going to get him in.
I tell you right now, he comes on with me all the time because he knows I go out there and praise him. So when I need him, he comes on. That's important. That's important.